time I was 9 years old. Bussing tables, sweeping, and cleaning counters at a restaurant I was not even allowed to sit in. I didn't get proper primary schooling. So college was not in the cards for me. It has been a long journey from there to here. Sometimes it was hard. Sometimes I didn't know which road to take. And there were times I thought I was letting my family down. Sometimes I did let them down. I am far from a perfect man. I am telling you this because I want you to know the whole truth about success, about the whole journey, not just the fancy parts. I don't want to just sell you a few best practices and send you away, send you on your way, without telling you that there will be days when none of those practices work. I want you to know what to do when doing isn't enough. There are hard times. Let's be honest about that. But I am here to inspire you and to tell you that this is not going to be forever. But I'm also here to tell you that you don't have to wait until it gets better to be the best at what you are doing. I am doing it right now. And I want you to know that you can too. I flew thousands of miles to tell you what no one else can tell you because I have been where you are and I am where you want to be. If you're struggling in this bad economy, I've been there. If you're doing well but can't break through to the top, I know that place. If you're in a slump, I've been there more times than I care to remember. If you're tired, angry, hopeless, I've been all of those. Maybe you're riding high for the first time, and you want to know how to stay there. Or you're working in a toxic office, and you want to do well in spite of that. Or you're new and don't know how to ask for help. Or you ask for help, but it didn't help. I promise you, there is not a situation anyone in this room is in that I haven't seen or felt. I see you. I know you personally. And I know this. I have taken that journey in a similar road. There is no place too low to rise from and no space too hard to overcome. There are a lot of brilliant people at this gathering who can tell you what you need to do to be good at your job. But I want to talk to you today about who you need to be inside to reach more success and to hold on to it no matter what is going on in the world. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for that?
Yes.
Anything worth having takes more than just energy. The more is what matters most. For me, that sums up in 5 life lessons. Number 1, no one can write your story unless you give them a pen. What or who is defining you? One of my favorite painters is Norman Rockwell. Triple self-portrait. I like it because I think it has all the elements of a good life story, well told. Take a look at it. What do you see in it? I see an old man who is painting himself as he sees himself. Not as the world sees him. His face isn't what it used to be. There are a few more lines where it used to be smooth. He needs glasses now. But what he wants you to see, what he captured on the canvas is joy. He has pictures of great artists, Van Gogh and Rembrandts, mentors, people he learned from. I also see practice drawing, because nobody gets it right every time. It takes time to get good at anything. But look at the wastebasket. It's filled up with things forgotten, mistakes that are behind him and not interfering with the work he has to do now. But the most important thing in this picture for me though is who is holding the brush. If he was sitting for another painter, even one of his famous idols, it would be a very different result. That artist would paint what he could see. Rockwell painted what we could not see. You know who you are better than anyone else. And you should be the one who decides where your story goes, how and when it ends, or doesn't end. 53 years ago, my first manager fired me my first week on the job. When he found out I didn't have a car or a home phone, he had to keep me around for the first week because he had already paid me. But he wouldn't give me a desk in the office to work from, business cards or leads. He told me I would never make it in this business. He thought I'd be gone before the week was out. But he wasn't writing my story. I told him I would work for free. I set up my office in a phone booth in the parking lot of a drugstore. I didn't have leads, so I cold called people from the phone book. I caught the bus to my appointments, and I made Rookie of the Year. Many years later, I found myself in a slump, and another manager told me I should quit. He said I was washed up, good for nothing. I almost gave up. I almost gave him permission to write my ending. Almost. That was before I won my first #1 trophy. That was a twist in my story he definitely didn't see coming. No one can write your story unless you give them the pen. Some of you are being crushed under the weight of what somebody else said about you, or keep saying about you, that you aren't good enough, that you aren't smart enough. Take your pen back. Some of you are reading the papers and watching the news. They are reporting that countries across the globe are experiencing the worst economic crisis in modern history. They're scared. So you're scared. No. You let them write their stories, but they don't have to become your stories. Why? Because 2023 is a perfect storm of opportunities for people who do what we do. We were made for this, trained for this, called to this. Think about it. We are insurance agents and financial planners. We are in the business of bringing confidence where there's uncertainty. We're in the business of establishing security when finances are at risk. We're in the business of reminding people about what really matters when the world is falling apart. We are in the business of giving people peace of mind when they're worried about how their family will function without them. We're in the business of creating streams of water in what looks like a financial desert. When everyone around us is losing faith, losing heart, losing that grip, we're in a position to know all is not lost. That is your story. Are you willing to go out and tell it? Are you willing to go out and tell it? This is our moment to rebound, to overcome challenges and limits. Number 2, limits don't get a vote. if you got an email from me, you might have seen that at the bottom below the signature, and I learned that lesson young. I believe it, and I tried to live by it. I grew up in Eufaula, Alabama, when at a time when segregation in America was real and legal. I remember being 9 years old, standing at, I did every day, in front of a drinking fountain. I was supposed to clean it, but I was not allowed to drink from it. Above it was a sign that read, white only. That sign drew a boundary for me. It declared me less than. Whoever made it was saying, this is good for some, but not you, Solomon. But that didn't line up with what I believe about myself. What my mother and what my Bible had told me. Something in me kept asking, why not me? The question would not leave me alone, even as I asked other questions. What was it about my blackness that wasn't good enough for a sip of water, a seat at a lunch counter, a decent education, a hospital, or the front of a bus? What was about me that made it okay to raise the bar and lower the ceiling at the same time? Why not me? One day, my 9-year-old mind latched onto an idea. I thought maybe if I tasted the white water, I would find the answers to my question. It's important to know that people died in those days for doing less than I was thinking about doing. It didn't take much back then to cross a line you couldn't uncross. So I waited until after everyone went home. I stood there in the dark. When I was sure no one would see me through the window, I drank from that white water fountain. You know what happened? Nothing and everything. The water wasn't better or sweeter or special. It was just as wet as the water I drank at home. It slid down my throat the same way. But I reasoned at 9 years old that white water was no different than my water, then I was no different from white people. Not different in the ways that matter. Whoever made that sign could not and would not put limits on me. What is your white water? Who's staring me down? Who's staring down at me? Like that sign, putting limits on you. Or are you putting limits on yourself? The 2008 financial crisis rocked the insurance industry from top to bottom. Many of my clients were scared they would permanently lose their investment, and prospect was afraid to move forward. Every conversation, every conference, every workshop centered around how we would ride out the storm or when things would get back to normal. Advisors and agents felt trapped. I didn't want to wait. I started calling my clients and educating them about what was happening and how it could affect them. I realized that when I educate them, we found creative ways to minimize and sometimes eliminate those losses. The restriction that season placed on some became an opportunity to change the way I did business. Prospect, qualify, presentation. Close became respect, be out of focus, and other-centered. Query, ask questions that put you on the same side as your client. Collaboration, educate your client so they can tell you what they need and not the other way around. An open discussion, and hopefully a long-term relationship versus close of sale. Limits are real. They help you assess risk and plan as you move forward. But limits should never have the final word. They work for you. You don't work for them. Number 3. Sorry. Why eat how for breakfast every day? How do you do it? I get asked that question all the time. People want to know how I do, what I say in a meeting, if I have a system for prospecting, when is the right time to ask for referral. I answer all of their questions and they go away, eager to get back to work and put my words into practice. Sometimes it works. I think it would have been better if they had stuck around long enough for me to ask some questions. I would have asked, why are you doing what you do? Why are you in this business? Why are you trying to become better at it? Why are you here? The truth is, if your why is strong enough, every how will take care of itself. Every successful man or woman knows their why. My why is my beautiful wife, Miss Carol. I've been married to that woman for 60 years. She's the first thing I look at, and when I wake up, and the last thing I want to think about before I go to bed. Before I'm an agent, I am Carol Hicks' husband. Before I shoot for number 1, I aim to make her proud of me. The one time I almost quit, she reminded me who I was. My wife, my children, my grandchildren, they represent my why. My family is my why. For them, I will always find a house. For the right why, you will make a way out of no way. When you're struggling, why keep you moving forward? Why makes you courageous? And when you're down and ready to quit, it whispers in your ear, get up, get up, get up. Try one more time. When your why is big enough, you will find your house. I don't work for trophies or awards or money. Those things come because I am driven by something that keeps me going when there are no rewards or slap on the back. A good why put a smile on your face when everything else is working against you. So what happens when you don't have a why? Without something or someone to give shape and reason to your work, it's easy to burn out or feel empty. No matter how many trophies are up on the mantle, people without a why seldom enjoy their success. And when they're not doing well, they can fall into selfishness, envy, anger, and wandering without any real destination. The person without a why is everywhere, nowhere, at the same time. The surest path to success is knowing why you're on the road in the first place. Number 4, failure is a tool, not a talent. A talent is an aptitude or a gift. It's part of who you are, part of your design. When you're talented at something, it's easier for you to do that than it is for some others because it comes natural to you. It's a part of you. It's a tool. On the other hand, it's a device used to accomplish a function or reach a goal. Tools are given to us to be used. Tools are given to us to be used by us, but they are not part of us. We can put them down when they're no longer useful. But failure, if we learn from it, it's a tool. It can make us better if we know what to do with it. The problem is, too many people treat failure like it's a talent. Something that comes natural to them, sometimes that is a part of who they are. I've been there. I have let a series of failures get the best of me. I settled in and decided that I was a failure because I had some setbacks. When that happens, I made it worse by focusing on where I had landed. My mind was consumed with how low my numbers were, how far I had fallen, and what I would have to do to catch up to the others in the office. That was the wrong focus. I was holding on to my mistakes like they were a part of me. Eventually, I let them speak for me. I let them shape how I presented myself to the world. Does any of this sound familiar to anybody? You're not alone. Failure can consume us if we don't know what to do with it. Tools set us up for success. Choose success. We reach for them at an appointed time for a particular reason. So how do you turn a failure into a tool? You stop obsessing about what you did wrong. You look at what you were doing right before the failure. Or you look at what you can do instead of it. In other words, focus on where you slipped, not where you failed. That is where we rebound. We turn around, reflect, learn, dust ourselves off from that slip. We fall forward. Get up and stand tall. Mistakes stop being mistakes the minute you learn from them. So let's review. Number one, no one can write you a story unless you give them the pen. Number two, limits don't get a vote. Number three, why eats how for breakfast every day? Number four, failure is a tool, not a talent. And the fifth and most important lesson to learn by. Number five, love is forever. 10 years ago, I was putting together a plan for a pastor. He wanted to make sure his family and his church would not suffer or struggle if, God forbid, something happens to him. I usually tell my clients when they're gone, the people they leave behind will remember one or two things. They will either remember you love them, or they will remember that how you left them. He chose to be remembered for his love. He had put a number of things in place for his church and his family. When I went to deliver the policies, I decided to create something special for them. I called it the Love Letter. It was a document written for the pastor and his wife that summarized everything that was in place. There was a cover letter that shared the pastor's love for his wife and its intent to express that love as the driving force behind the insurance. I read the cover letter to them both and then explained the products to them. There were happy tears and joy. And it was a way to take something that was calm and unemotional and turn it into a gift. I started getting referrals from couples who wanted their own love letter. It taught me a lesson I had known all my life and had never intentionally put it into work. No matter what is happening in the world, our work will always be about love. When the world's laboring under the weight of uncertainties, parents will still love their children and want them to go to college. Husbands will still love their wives and want to see them secure. In the midst of the worst economic crisis in modern history, people will always love people. Now more than ever, we need to step up and be the men and women we're called to be. All of you, and each of you is a gift, perfect for such a time as this. People are struggling financially. We have answers. People are afraid. We have answers. People are living in uncertain times. We have answers. Everybody stand up. Now look at me. What we do is important. What we do impacts generations. We're not here gathering here to socialize and listen to a few good speeches. We're here because we can make a difference today for people who are fighting to hold on to tomorrow. The beautiful thing about what we do is that we don't have to be perfect or brilliant. If we show up caring and ready to serve, we're almost there. And we are unstoppable. Each of us and all of us can change the world. Thank you, MDRT. Join me, this little light of mine. Let it shine, oh, this little light of mine. Oh, let it shine. This little light of mine. What are you gonna do? Let it let's refocus just a bit.
他有手机架，是啊。那个别人的。
I would like to leave you with some fire in your belly and hungry for action. Who here has watched a baby's first steps? Isn't that a moment of absolute wonder? Imagine those wobbly legs and inexperienced feet learn to move together. It creates incredible joy for that child, and parents, and loved ones. But what always happens next? The baby goes a few feet and tumbles to the ground. They fall. Then maybe an hour or a day, or even a few days might go by. The baby gives it another go. They may make it a few more steps, being more careful to keep their balance and pace, and they tumble again. They may cry, but they always go back to action. We all know how this goes. After steady determination and consistency, you officially have a toddler and then walking baby on your hands. It seems silly to compare ourselves to an adorable baby. However, the reason I pick that example is for the fact that succeeding is truly that simple. It boils down to determination and consistency. To win, to succeed, to evolve. Where else do we fall to get back up in life? Riding a bike, or swimming on your own, speaking to a crowd, interviewing for a job or a promotion. Each of these instances is nerve-wracking. Takes time, precision, and commitment. But we continue. We persist, even after failure. Most things are rewarded when you break a sweat. Thomas Edison is known for his successful invention of the light bulb. May there be light. However, not everyone recognizes that his creation of the light bulb came only after 1,000 other failed inventions. Failure makes you resilient, creative, and more aware of yourself. It sharpens your senses and teaches you what to do and don't want. Do you remember how it feels to skin your knees as a kid? I do. Do you remember how it feels to miss something you worked hard for? I bet you came back better prepared the next time. Reggie Jackson, he's a former professional baseball right fielder who played 21 seasons in the Major League Baseball. He was later inducted to the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 1993. Throughout his infamous career, he struck out 2,600 times throughout. It's funny how no one remembers that test if you have the top score, the best idea. The test is for you to keep learning, keep educating yourself, keep being creative, keep committed towards your genuine desire to delight the mindset that leads you despite failure. Walt Disney, a state is worth $1 billion US. The Disney Corporation now nets approximately $35 billion annually. And there probably isn't a soul in this room who doesn't know who he is. But did you know that he was told by his editor early in his career that he lacked imagination and good ideas? That was before he went on to create Walt Disney World, the happiest place on earth. Even Walt Disney recognized all of our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Pursue. What does the word mean? In the Webster Dictionary, pursuit is defined as an activity that one engages in as a vocation or a profession. It also means to continue activity until you have reached the intended goal. What are you in pursuit of? What lights your soul on fire? What is your why? In your life, Albert Einstein didn't speak until he was 4 years old. He was unsuccessful at reading until age 7 and was generally thought to be mentally handicapped in his youth. Today we know him for his wild intelligence and development of numerous scientific theories and more than 50 patent inventions. Throughout Einstein's life, he had many famous quotes. Although the one that sticks with me is this: only one who devotes himself to a cause with his whole strength and soul will be a true master. For this reason, mastery demands all of a person. Devote yourself. Make the effort. Commit the time and energy to failing and getting up again. You will succeed. Dr. Seuss, he's a famous children's author, cartoonist, poet, and illustrator. He is famously known for writing 60-plus books and creating entirely new categories of books for kids. Later on, he continued by creating Dr. Seuss Land in the Universal Studio and many movies that was inspired by his stories. Before his ascent into writer stardom, he was rejected by 27 publishers and almost burned his manuscript before he finally met the man who helped him get his first book published. Dr. Seuss has a way of making big problems feel simple. He said, happiness can be found even in the darkest times if one only remembers to turn on the light. Know that when you fail, you will get back up and there's greatness in the future. Fail forward. The basketball powerhouse Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team before he rose to top of Major League basketball. He stated, "I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I lost almost 300 games. And on 26 occasions, I've been entrusted to take the game-winning shot, and I missed. I have failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed." Without the failure and rise of these famous humans, we would be without life. Mickey Mouse, Al Jordan. These recognized and highly successful people, ultimate achievement came from their incredible drive, determination, and consistency as much as ability. If you remember my journey, I have failed again and again. I have been fired, rejected, and required me to reinvent myself over the last 53 years. In that time frame, I have changed as a man. My why has changed. My pursuit has shifted. I have fallen down and skinned my knees. I didn't give up. I hit a ceiling, and I had to get creative to conquer that ceiling. And you will too. When you met my adversity, give it hell. That is the moment to learn, to shift your perspective and adjust your focus and approach. Sharpen your senses and your skill. Don't take no for an answer. Don't accept defeat. Persistence and conviction are the difference between success and failure. So if you want to succeed, don't be afraid to fail. Fail frequently and collect your lesson like a badge. They are your tuition payment. The more times you fail, the nearer you are to succeed. Life is not easy. It's not fair. It won't ever be. Rather than searching for happiness, search for joy. Joy comes from hard work. Happiness relies on the results. Joy is what you experience when you do what you were meant to do. Your calling, your vocation. Joy is a constant activity. It requires you to be present. Pursuing joy insists that you be all in. It brings you closer to mastery. Just serve it. Nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks and learn from failure. In order to achieve success and joy, activist and first black lawyer in South Africa, Nelson Mandela said, "Do not judge me by my success. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again." Everyone here has the talent to succeed, but do you have the guts to fail? Are you willing to try something that you may not be skilled at yet, or that others might find extraordinary? I challenge you to go out and do it. Fail. It will be frightening but rewarding. Fall down 5, 10, 40, or 45 times. Get up to 46. Reinvent yourself. Commit to yourself. Commit to why you started in the first place. Who you are at the beginning is not the same person you will end up being. Don't just aspire to make a living. Aspire to make a difference. Join the other greats. You have everything inside you to succeed and find joy. Go after it. Pursue it. Being with you all has filled my heart today, and I'm hopeful that I have left you inspired. Thank you. Thank